Hey guys, my name is Jonathan Reich. I'm a licensed CPA in the state of Louisiana in the United States of America. And I don't normally differentiate what country I'm in because it's not important. But today's comparison, I think it will be important. So, normally, like when I do a head to head comparison of two different accounting related topics, because I like to make content on accounting, fintech platforms, things that make business owners' lives easier. It's normally kind of I'll pick a platform that I like and then just kind of bully it amongst another platform because I have the platforms that I think are the best in the industry. Those are the ones I'm working with. But today it's a little different because I think we've got two really, really good platforms here. If you are looking for international or different ways to pay your vendors. Um, it's going to be really difficult to kind of pick which one is going to be the better of the two, but I think they each have their own niche. And so today's topic is Melio versus Wise. And from kind of everything I've seen and experienced with Wise, while I did my research on it for this video, Wise seems to be it seems to be well positioned if you are in the EU, if you're in East Asia, if you are doing business in America and you're paying Canadian and Mexican contractors and vendors, or you're doing a lot of overseas business, Wise seems to be, well, kind of wise to use, pun intended. And so that's enough of making myself laugh. So, with Wise, you have the ability to pay in over 140 countries. And guys, I think there's only like 160 countries on Earth. And we all know that, like, North Korea is probably not getting paid in US dollars. So, that's most countries right there. And then there are tons of different currencies that you can pay in as well. And they're all almost instantaneous. So, like right off the get go, I've been pretty impressed with Wise. One other thing is they're super transparent about what their exchange rate is. So, like when we're running things against the US dollar, if we're like typically I'll pay like a Mexican or Canadian, like sub or something like that. Like I don't typically do a lot of EU related things, but there's going to be an exchange rate. And so you typically lose a little off the top because however you're sending that money, whether it be like an ACH to the bank, that exchange rate is going to kind of move a little bit throughout the day. But with Wise, what you see is what you get. It's locked in, and they say we'll lock it in for you for 24 hours, which I think is really, really impressive. And so their whole thing, their whole niche, and why I think today's head to head might be kind of this is what this is good at and this is what this is good at is international, international, international. If you are working across the ocean, if you're going across different borders, then Wise is probably going to be built for you. So really like focus on Wise if you are big international payments. They also do accounts receivable as well. You can receive money. And I want to make sure I go ahead and note that because I am going to note that on the other payment platform, Melio. So you can get money in the typical currencies that you see here: Great British Pound, European, or I'm sorry, the Euro, US dollar, CAD, Australian dollar, stuff like that. So overall, really impressed with Wise. I think they offer a ton of transparency, which I do like. They have the necessary accounting plug and play things like Zero. I would assume that they connect to QuickBooks, but it is kind of suspicious to me that it was not called out. I'm assuming it wasn't called out because QuickBooks Online is probably like a US centric accounting platform, whereas someone like Zero is going to be more international. You can see I've called Zero out in other videos, and that is kind of one of their strong suits. And so I'm certain that they do connect to QuickBooks without a problem. So Wise, that's going to be its strength, I think, is its niche for the ability to get paid and pay in any currency that your heart desires. And so let's talk about what our other competitor does. And so that's going to be Melio. Melio, to me, this is kind of like comparing apples to oranges. Melio can pay. Keyword is can pay in different currencies. I've mentioned in the past that they can basically you set your payment and then however you pay, whether it be ACH, credit card, whatever have you, it's going to get wired over to that currency, like wherever that banking institution is that's getting paid in euros, there's going to be a $20 transfer fee. And it's almost instantaneous in most cases, unless it's a large denomination, like over $100,000. Other things that I've talked to or created content on in the past is that if you're using Melio and your business is registered in Texas or Vermont, you may have some issues sending international payments. Some other things is Melio does showcase what the exchange rates are, so you always know what you're going to be paying and how that's going to be affected no matter what currency you're sending those funds in. So if I'm sending 1,000 euros, then the exchange rate is going to be about 1,200 US dollars. And so you're never going to be caught with any surprise fees or anything like that. You can also send those payments. This is something that I really like about Melio. Even though we're talking about international and I haven't even gotten to like really its strengths yet, you can send payments internationally with a credit card. So like if you have a $1,200 bill from a supported currency, let's say it's Canadian dollars, and you're like, hey, I'm a little short on cash right now, you can use a credit card to pay that. And even if the vendor does not take credit cards as a form of payment, you can still use a credit card. You'll pay that 2.9% fee, and then those funds will get pushed over to the vendor in their correct currency, and they'll be none the wiser. There may be a small fee associated with it. Like I said, I believe it's $20 typically for international payments. So that's really about the cost that it would be to send a wire anyway. But do watch out for those other fees, like the 2.9% if you're paying by credit card. And then you want to make sure that you're also accounting for any not advantageous, whatever the opposite of advantageous, an exchange rate that's going to hurt you essentially. So those are a couple things. So let's get down to the nuts and bolts of what I think Melio does really well, because that's just like one of the plus sides of using Melio. It can do international payments, but to me, the big strength of Melio is how it can integrate with your AP/AR platforms. Wise can do this as well, so I want to make sure that I'm not like selling you a farce. But if you want to like invoice a ton of folks at one time, you do have the option to create a CSV. So whenever you go to get paid, you click new invoice, add manual, and then you just can upload a CSV file with the company name, amount, invoice number, and due date, and send all those out. And that's it. And Wise will allow you to do that as well. But Melio, for certain, does integrate data with QuickBooks. And so you don't have to worry about double keying or anything of that nature. The other thing is when you send that invoice out to your customer via Melio, they're going to get a quick email link. They're going to be able to click on it. They're going to be able to enter their bank account information or their credit card details, and then you get paid. And usually it's relatively quick. Some other things about Melio is it's relatively affordable. So if you go to their pricing page here, you'll see that my favorite thing, you get a freebie. You get to see if you like it. You can basically check the platform out. You're going to be limited on some of these, but you can check the platform out, see if it's for you, see if it makes sense. And that's it. You get 5 free ACHs, and then you can check out their Core or Boost plan. Core is $25 a month. That's really probably the one you're going to want to start with to like really get the full experience, just for this guy right here, because it's a continuous sync to your accounting system if you use Xero as well. Here under the free ones, you get 10 free syncs. So do keep that in mind. But overall, along with the ability to send out multiple invoices and get paid, you can also, send out multiple payments for multiple invoices and batch those. You can also enter invoices and pay your vendors as well. So here you're going to have an entire list of vendors. I'm in a test company, so I think I've got 2 or 3 here. And then you're able to manage your vendors. You're able to go ahead and pay those vendors from here. So if you need to create a payment because Rise CPA did a good job on your taxes this year, you just click on Rise CPA, put the amount that you owe me, and then away you go. So, and that'll all push over to the accounting software that you use. And it's just really a seamless and intuitive experience whenever you're using the platform. So that's why I said today is going to be a little difficult in order to pick out who is the better one. It's really the question of what is your business trying to do? Are you sending a ton of international payments? Don't discount Melio. Melio can do it. But if you were like really heads in the weeds, you're in the EU, and you're trying to send different payments. You're sending Great British pounds, you're sending your euros, you're sending Australian dollars. You're working with countries who are taking you or folks in the country who are using US dollars, and you're just kind of really spread out all over the place. Think about using Wise because that's what they were made for. But if you want to keep things nice, tight, and clean, and you're just occasionally sending out international payments, you can definitely say that Melio is going to be the better choice for that. It can do those one-offs as needed. It can send tons and tons and tons of different countries payments in a well over a dozen currencies. But to me, Melio is going to be better for like a small business who is sending out lots of invoices, sending out lots of payments associated with bills. And me personally, I think it's more US centric. So it does its job really, really well. Whereas Wise also does its job really, really well. So if you're going to be head down in the weeds with all those different currencies and it's going to be like herding cats, I would check out Wise if I'm like heavy international. If I'm looking for a clean cut, like easy to use, basically easy to navigate, relatively affordable platform, I'm going to go with Melio. And then if I have those one-off payments, I'm going to feel good knowing that Melio will be able to pick up those stragglers that I need to whenever I have to send those international payments. So, and then the other thing is you get the flexibility using Melio for the different types of payments, credit card, ACH, wire, however you want to send them. That's an option with Melio as well if you are ever in a cash crunch. So, like I said, today was tough. This one was a little bit harder just because they both do their own things really, really well. And so I'm going to kind of have to leave it to you guys to say, well, what is my business doing? Am I working strictly in the United States? It's kind of a hands down to Melio. Am I working with a country in the EU and I'm doing business within my own borders? Still could probably give it to Melio. But if I'm just doing tons of like international manufacturing, international services, definitely consider Wise. Don't discount Melio because it can handle a lot of that. But when it's a nail, you need a hammer. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something.